buildings are the future source of raw materials, wood, to complement the source of materials from the forest. I think there are many possibilities. There are also challenges. We know, of course, that wood is used in construction, not only in wooden buildings, but also as part of other structures within even masonry and concrete buildings. So there's usually quite a lot of wood present in all buildings. And if we look at the total sum of this, I mean, it's quite a significant amount. We don't currently use this. Usually when buildings are demolished, the wood is largely destroyed during the demolition process, so the properties of the wood are not so great. However, if we were a little bit more careful with the demolition process, we recovered the wood through dismantling rather than demolition, we could probably recover that wood in far better quality. And if we were able to do that, then we would be able to use that as a supplementary source to the forest resources, which we know they're of course renewable, but they're certainly not inexhaustible. And we are going to need more and more buildings in the future, so we need more wood. So we need to look to all sources of potential supply. And old buildings that are decommissioned for one reason or another or become abandoned, then we can recover that material and use it in new constructions or in further renovation. Of course, we need to do quite a lot of work still to understand how the wood changes its properties. What does that mean in terms of the new applications that we put it to? And also looking at the demolition process, how can we improve that so we do recover wood that's of better quality? I think intrinsic to this is the idea of design for disassembly. So designing buildings in the first place that are much more easy to disassemble rather than to demolish. This makes it much easier to recover the materials in a better quality, and therefore there's much better potential to use it at the end of the day. So kind of in summary, I think there is a good potential for this resource to supplement what we already get from the forest, and we are going to need more wood in the future. There are challenges. We're working on these at the moment to try to overcome some of these challenges, working with designers, for example, around design for disassembly, working with scientists and engineers to understand the wood properties and how they change, and see how we can then use this material in these new forms of application. I suppose one of the big advantages of doing this is to store the carbon that's embodied in the wood for a much longer period. We also can reduce the pressure on the forest, which we, as we know, are under a lot of pressure now, particularly in terms of biodiversity loss